Hey, happy Monday. So I was going to answer some questions that I have received that I have been very lax in responding to. And so I will start with Deb Need to Do Something and asked me about having a fill during your period and what the deal is with that and why you shouldn't and all that. My doctor's office actually kind of recommends against it. The deal is that most women go through some water retention, some bloating, water weight gain, those kinds of things. All that affects how that band, how the restriction is. When you're bloated and you're retaining water, your band's generally going to be a little tighter. I experienced that. A number of women that I spoke to experienced it. The tech who did my fill the last time I was in there, she's had her band about 5 months, I believe. And she said that this last time that she had her period, she actually had to have a partial unfill done because the water retention, the bloating was such that it actually closed her off. And so I generally, if I start to get tight towards the middle of the month, I check the calendar, and if I'm within a week or so of when I know my period should start, I know that that's what that's about. I'm getting ready for that. And so if I'm feeling prior to that I might need a fill, then I'm going to wait until after my cycle completes, and then I'm going to see how I feel once the water weight has gone and I'm not bloated anymore, and determine then whether or not I need a fill. And generally, if I think I need a fill before my period, I still do after. It's just a matter of I've retained enough water that it cinches me off enough to be tight during that time. So that's the deal with that. Some women may not have any problems at all with that. I think that's going to be an individual experience. Deb also asked me about how much I eat. And I eat about a quarter of a cup to a half a cup of food, and I actually am just getting ready to have my first meal of the day. I've been up since, I think I dragged my ass out of bed at 10 today. And it's 2:30 now. And I'm just getting ready to eat lunch, and I've fixed a plate. Let's see, which way does this go? Okay, this is a saucer-sized plate, and that's the food that's on there. And what that is a half of a chicken thigh, a boneless, skinless chicken thigh that I had. I baked these up. I smashed them out flat, and I rolled a cream cheese and bacon and herb and tomato mixture in them, and rolled them in a little bit of egg and some ground Triscuits, fried them in the bacon grease from the bacon, and then put them in a baking dish with a cheddar cheese soup that I cut with some heavy cream, and baked it for, I don't know, about 40 minutes. So yeah, I can eat about a half of a chicken thigh. And this right here on this plate will take me about a half an hour to eat. I'm actually pretty loose right now. Well, not pretty loose necessarily, but I'm certainly not having any problems with meat or anything like that. That is a standard portion for me. That's my protein. There's meat on that plate. It's not giving me any problems today. I'll eat again probably around 6:30 or 7. It's likely that I'll just have the same thing because I actually cooked a pan of this last night and gave some to the kids, and so I still have another half of a thigh in there, and I'll probably just reheat that for dinner as well. But I generally, that's all the more that I can eat at any one time, and that amount of food takes me about 30 minutes to finish. If I'm eating something softer, mushier, I can get about a half a cup. You know, like if I'm just doing mashed potatoes, which I've been known to do, I can eat about a half a cup of mashed potatoes. But that's a typical portion size for me. If I eat a piece of toast, if I indulge in bread at all, first of all, I get the 9-grain or better bread. It's got to be, it's got to have a lot of nuts and seeds and stuff like that in it. It's got to be a really coarse, dense bread, because when it toasts, I need it to not go into any kind of dough. and I can eat about a half of a piece of toast. And if I choose to fix a sandwich with a piece of bread, I take a piece of that bread and I cut it in half, and I toast the sandwich, and I manage to get about a half of a half sandwich, because once I add the meat and the cheese to the bread, that half of a sandwich, I can actually only eat about half of that. And I'm completely satisfied. I'm completely full. I don't feel like I'm still hungry. I very rarely actually get really, really hungry. I know every few hours to eat something, and I'm focused on my protein throughout the day. That's the one thing that consistently I kind of have in the back of my mind, is making sure that I've got enough protein for the day, because I know I pick at stuff during the rest of the day. You know, I might open the cottage cheese and have 2 teaspoons of cottage cheese just because I feel like I want a little something, or I might eat just a piece of cheese, or 3 crackers or something like that. That for me, that's my little snacky. 2 or 3 crackers, there it is. 1 piece of cheese. That's how that works. But a meal, that's what a meal looks like. No matter what it is, that's all the more food that goes on the plate. So there's that. Lori asked me if I had any tips, tricks, or anything like that for getting around that morning tightness, and I don't. I don't really have tips and tricks for anything. I don't try and get around anything. If my stomach and my band say no, then I just agree, and I just don't eat that day, or I eat just soup or cottage cheese or something really soft and mushy. But as far as I know, I'm like most bandsters. I'm tight in the morning, and I just can't eat. It's just not physically possible. It's very uncomfortable. I've been known to throw up when I've tried to force myself. I start the day with my liquids and my fluids. Generally milk and my iced tea or water, and I try and put down as much as I can in those first couple of hours that I'm awake. It gets everything moving and working, and then when I'm ready to eat, which is in a couple of hours after I've woke up, I generally don't have any problems. And my standard first meal is usually 1 piece of bacon and a scrambled egg, and that's just a standby. It's something I know I can tolerate. It feels good when I eat it. Today I didn't do that. I went out early and had a walk, and then I just haven't been hungry, and so now I'm having the chicken. It's late enough in the day, and I'm feeling open enough. I feel like I've pushed enough fluid for the day. So that's the only thing that I do to bypass that morning. I don't eat in the morning like most bandsters. There's just no food gonna go down. I know a lot of people do protein shakes and stuff like that, and I've said not ever in this life will I ever put another protein shake to these lips. I do milk. I do chocolate milk sometimes. Yeah, and I don't have any problems with that. I don't feel deficient for not eating anything first thing in the morning. I feel okay. I eat when I'm hungry. If I was truly hungry, I would find some kind of an instant breakfast or something that may work. Oatmeal isn't a good option for me in the morning. It just makes a big sticky mess, and it's not comfortable. No food is comfortable for me in the morning, so I don't have any tips or tricks around that. As far as dealing with the emotional issues of wanting to eat, when those things come up, wanting to eat out of emotional need and necessity, desire, whatever you want to call it, I'm just like anybody else. I've been known to give into it, and I've been known to rise above it. For the most part, I stay on top of it. Those feelings are there, those thoughts are there. I have good restriction right now, and so it's physically just not possible for me, and I am not somebody, I won't try it and hurt myself. I won't, because it's painful, and it does hurt, and I have done it. I have tried to push it, and I've made myself throw up, and as if that isn't bad enough, it's literally hurt. I had pain, and I'm not interested in that at all, and so that really is where it shuts me down and I just have to find something else to do. And if my restriction wasn't as tight as it was, I would be able to eat more often and more often out of that emotional desire or whatever. So that is one of the reasons that I keep the band as tight as I do. So there are a few question and answers. I see I'm out of time as always. I'm going to finish my lunch, and then I actually have another video I'm going to work on this afternoon because I found some interesting photographs yesterday. I'd like to share those with you. So I hope you guys are all having a really wonderful day, experiencing great success. Thank you for all of your questions. I'm going to try and get them all answered and get some videos posted. I appreciate the time that you take to ask and the time that you take to watch and all of the really wonderful emails and supportive comments. I appreciate them all. I will talk to you very soon. Bye.